My name is Christian Alfonso. I've spent the last 6 months in Little Haiti looking at the lack of prevention service utilization in low-income communities through the lens of health disparities. This is the story of their lived experience.
What you see in Little Haiti is sort of like the perfect storm for inequity to be institutionalized and reproduced over time. The biggest risk factors affecting the Haitian community are the social determinants of health.
It's like a pyramid. At the base of the problem is that even within the Haitian community, there are low levels of literacy with their native language. The next tier of the problem is that cultural factors, such as the language barrier, debilitate most efforts of dialogue. This miscommunication leads to a mistrust of the healthcare system. The apex of the problem is that these communities are economically and socially locked out of the healthcare system. Without access to affordable insurance, the only option to see a physician is through the emergency room.
Just by virtue of being born into this neighborhood, that kid's life chances are like this.
As far as people are concerned, and the health disparities, for one, is being knowledgeable. People are not knowledgeable about the things that are accessible to them. They don't have any knowledge of what they can get, like what's available for them to help them live healthier lifestyles.
Because these women don't have access to education about disease or the importance of early detection, and because they don't have access to the formal healthcare system or choose not to access the formal healthcare system for other ethno-medical providers, they often come to us at very advanced stages of disease when treatment efficacy is very, very low. And so there are women that I have met in Little Haiti who, because they didn't have access to a routine pap smear, ended up suffering tremendous disability from treatment that was necessary to save their life.
And then we talk about things that are available to individuals. You have some people that have Medicaid, but they don't even understand the whole Medicaid process. Like, they don't know what an HMO is. They just know that they have Medicaid, but they don't know, like, what's the difference between the type of HMO that they have and the other HMOs that's available to them. As far as providers are concerned, where they switch up, depending on what type of HMO they're willing to take. And then you have a client who's been going to this clinic for a while, and then all of a sudden the provider says, well, we're not taking this HMO anymore. And then that throws a whole nother brick into the ball game, because then it's like, okay, now we have to call somebody. Well, calling somebody, first you got to have access to a phone. If you're fortunate enough to have a phone or have access to a phone, it's like, okay, you call someone, but you're waiting forever. Most of the time it's an automated system, and then when you do speak to someone, it's like you guys are speaking different languages.
So I want doctors to be community competent.
Healthcare has to have a global view, not only of the patient as a unit, but its environment, the society, and the social logistic that we are in.
After 450 interviews, I did not come across a single college graduate and very few individuals with any form of stable income, let alone ones making what we would call a living wage. An estimated 80% were unemployed, and 85% did not complete high school.
There's lots of research that shows that clinicians don't always make the same recommendations to different patients. And you see that there are differential recommendations made to people of different race, ethnicity, and income. Think about breast cancer and the fact that, you have Black women with the same stage and histology of disease as a white woman. A white woman is more likely to be recommended lumpectomy with adjuvant radiation, and a Black woman is recommended mastectomy. And there's no clinical basis for that distinction. So clinicians have a responsibility, and first responsibility is taking ownership of that. Because we have the ability to be that voice, or to give volume to those voices that are underrepresented in a dialogue about how to achieve health equity. I think when you're talking about addressing disparity, you're really ultimately talking about the upstream social determinants of health, and that takes a village, of which doctors need to be part of, but they can't do it on their own. Because there's a lot of other people in communities who have just as much privilege, authority, and responsibility. And if you think that you're going to address disparity simply by providing access, it's not going to happen. It by far is the most important determinant of health disparity, but it's not the only one.
Access is a great first step, but health is a human effort and a collective responsibility. And healing is more than a prescription. Healthcare is not perfect, but neither is it alive. You are, and your voice can make a difference.